What is going on, YouTube? Do not adjust your channels. Do not adjust your YouTube. This is where we are going back in time to some of the craziest commercials from the retro era. We're going to give you 5 of my top favorites and one that was a little controversial as well, which will be the first one we go to. But back in the day, commercials were here and there, over the top, way better than they are now, because obviously there are no commercials unless you get the non-premium versions of Netflix, Max, and all these other companies. But video games have not been making commercials like they used to back in the day. But these commercials are a little bit out there, a little bit crazy. Before we get into it, if you remember any of these commercials or you remember any game commercials as well, let me know down in the comments below which was your favorite game commercial in the back in the day. And first off, we're going to go into the commercial where Intellivision calls out Atari for being a console war. So we all know that NES and Sega had their console war challenge, which we have a video which is going to be put up right up there right now, a little pin up there. But Intellivision and Atari had their own battle. So let's get to that commercial and see what it was all about back in the day.
I've been comparing the exciting new Intellivision space game Star Strike with one of the most popular Atari games, Asteroid.
I remember Asteroids.
Star Strike has moving images that make the game appear three-dimensional. Asteroids doesn't. And Star Strike features our most exciting visual effect, total destruction of a planet.
Death Star.
This is what the other game offers, which is why, after Star Strike, Asteroids left me rather flat. Star Strike, new for Intellivision from Mattel Electronics.
It's like, honestly, Intellivision, which is like ColecoVision and stuff like that, tried going after Atari, and I think that Atari really, didn't know what to do with it. I mean, I feel it's one of those type of commercials that they tried a lot. I mean, Asteroids is a great game, and look, the Atari, my favorite game for the Atari is no other than Joust. Joust is probably my favorite game. If I go to an arcade and they have Joust, I'll be playing it. We all remember, for obviously, Pac-Man, Pitfall, and all these other games as well, but Intellivision really went out there and they really tried to stick it to them, but I think they kind of failed in that point right there. But you know what? I'll give you kudos, Intellivision. Thank you so much for trying out there. But we all know what happened to both of your systems. I mean, you got outplayed by Nintendo and all these other guys out there. So we'll see what happens. Maybe Intellivision comes out later in the future. I mean, we do have an Atari retro system coming out pretty soon. So who knows? We might see that. Now, Game Boy. I pretty much had the Game Boy regular, the Game Boy Color. There was the Game Boy Pocket. There was also the SP. Game Boy came out with so many different versions of their system, which is great. But they had one that made it play it loud. It was a campaign to make it rebellious, to make it like you're edgy, to make it that you're cool and all that. So let's get to that commercial and see what it was all about for the Game Boy Color Pockets. That's a little awkward. Okay, so wait. So I want to say something right now. The red one's a little awkward. Like that guy right there is like, I have a handsome hunk. I don't remember if I had the red one or if I had the green one. I know I had one of those two. I now look at this commercial and I go, you know what, society, we think that there's certain things that are happening out there, but with He-Man and this type of stuff right there, that could be kind of the issues that we had. The black is pretty cool right there. They have obviously, the bikers and all that, showing the rebellious style of it. Game Boy really tried to become edgier, and I think the reason why they became edgier was because of the fact that obviously Genesis was one of those companies that really went out there against Nintendo, really tried to showcase Nintendo that, hey, we are better than you, we're edgier, we're more funnier, we're greater, and every aspect out there, which obviously I said Sega is a better system than Super Nintendo, but obviously Game Boy and Nintendo say, hey, we're going to clap back and we're going to give you what we have, and it is what it is. I want to know, did you guys have a Game Boy Pocket? Did you have a color one? Let me know what color you had. I wish I had a purple one. Did it have purple? Because my favorite color is purple. So I'm wondering right now, did they have a purple one? If you guys know if they did, let me know in the comments. If not, I mean, it would be pretty cool to buy one and just get one all custom made in purple. So yeah. We also have next, obviously, talking about Sega. Sega was aggressive marketing campaign with the Sega Classic in the 1990s, going with Genesis does what Nintendo don't, because they were very much more edgier, a lot better graphics, a lot more gameplay out there compared to the Super Nintendo style games. So let's get into that commercial right now with Sega Genesis telling Nintendo don't on their stuff.
16-bit arcade.
Oh yeah. All of this.
16-bit sports action. Get Joe Montana free, Pat Riley free, Buster Douglas free, Super Monaco GP free, or Collins free. What Nintendo? Buy a 16-bit Genesis system between now and October 31st and get an extra game.
So wait. I know for a fact. You know these guys. I don't think Pat Riley went out there and goes, does. I honestly, God, don't think Pat Riley did that. I could see Joe Montana doing it because he's obviously the face of the game. I remember Pat Riley basketball. Buster Douglas boxing actually looks pretty good compared to the one that I love playing the most. I love playing back in the day was Vander Holyfield boxing for the Sega Genesis. Joe Montana football, I mean, every single system had their own game. So like Joe Montana was like the big one. I think you had Jose Canseco baseball as well, Ken Griffey Jr. baseball. And then obviously now we have MLB The Show. We have Madden that has taken over the world, even over NFL 2K. So it was fun seeing these systems and fun seeing how like each one was battling each other. I mean, 16-bit graphics, I mean, you could tell some of the games were pretty cool. Columnist was their version to try attacking their, you know, Tetris on the Nintendo. I still think Tetris is a lot better. Colors was cool. You had to match all the gems and stuff like that to different colors. So it was fine. I just don't think that they were better suited for it. I think obviously the Tetris is a lot better game. If you haven't seen the Tetris movie, I've been sawing it a lot on TikTok. I actually want to watch it again. Very good movie. But yeah, so that is the Sega Genesis saying Nintendo don't. But you know what? You know what Nintendo did have? They had the Wizard. Remember the Wizard and the NES Power Glove? And I'm not talking about Captain N, the Game Master. No, I'm talking about the Wizard. There was one guy for Nintendo that was called the Wizard, and obviously, you know, there was a add-in for, you know, the Power Glove. So let's get into that commercial, see what it was all about. I remember having a Power Glove, and Jesus Christ, let's see this. There he is. There's the Wizard.
The Power Glove for your NES. Now you and the games are one.
Oh my God, I remember Punch Out with that. Look, I went to it right now.
Everything else is child's play.
See the Power Glove in the hot new movie The Wizard, starring Fred Savage.
Fred Savage, holy shit. And I gotta watch the movie The Wizard. There he is, the Wizard right there. I do not remember ever in my life throwing a punch like that and my screen going crazy for Punch Out. Look, I'm gonna tell you right now, Punch Out's hard as it is. And to use one hand glove and going like this, you know, you're like fist pumping in the air. Yeah. No, bro, it's not gonna happen. But the Power Glove was one of those things that Nintendo revolutionized their system. I think Nintendo was the system that went out there and tried to go over the top with a lot of things. They wanted to showcase that they were better than others. They wanted to go and be a little dangerous. They gave us the, you know, the virtual Game Boy, which was red-eyed and you're like blinded by it, and you know, your colors started changing. And you know, they came out with the SP that flip open, which now there's phones that flip, you know, and stuff like that. They came out with the dual screen. They came out with the 3DS. They came out with, you know, obviously the nunchuck controllers. And every other system has tried to do something like that. So they came out with the Super Soaker. They came out with the Super Scope. They came out with the, obviously the gun and all that. And every system has tried it. If you don't understand, like the what was it? The PlayStation came out with the nunchuck controller with the two big balls on it. Like you're like, do. Yeah, that one. And honestly, I mean, it was not as good as the Nintendo's versions of their nunchucks and all that. So obviously, I don't think there was any drift on it compared to Nintendo. Nintendo, fix your drift, bro, because if the Nintendo Switch 2 has drift, we're gonna have major problems. Okay, I'm letting you know right now. I will fly to whatever country your headquarters are at, and I will kick you square in the nuts. But that's about it. But Nintendo had a lot of cool stuff. And there's some commercials of Legend of Zelda. Look, I remember the Legend of Zelda Japan one that there was like a rap and like a dance video. But there was one in the US, and it was a little awkward out there for me. And honestly, I want to check it out with you all. Let's check out the 1988 Legend of Zelda Really Rad Rap commercial. Oh, boy.
Did you see the latest Nintendo newsletter?
Whoa, nice graphics. I'd like to get my hands on that game.
You mean you haven't played it yet? We can play it on my Nintendo Entertainment System. It's the Legend of Zelda, and it's really rad. Those creatures from Ganon are pretty bad. Octoroks, Tektites, levers too. But with your help, our hero pulls through. Yeah, go Link, yeah, get Zelda.
Awesome.
Intense.
The Nintendo Entertainment System. Your parents help you hook it up. The Legend of Zelda sold separately.
Like, I don't like, wait. We gotta go back to this commercial for a second. You ended up putting, look at the stereotype. You have a nerd, right, with the glasses and the pocket protector. He probably has a pocket protector. I didn't see the pocket protector, but he probably has one. Does he have a pocket protector? He 100% has a pocket protector somewhere. All right.
Whoa, nice.
He's got to have a pocket
graphics. I'd like to
protector.
get my hands on that game.
Like, back in the day, yes, we had those magazines. Then we grew up a little older and we had Nudie magazine going, I will have my hand on something else. But, you know, that's another thing that's not for this channel. So, but I don't even think that was Nintendo Power. Like, you would think Nintendo would have, did they have Nintendo Power back in the day at this time in 1988? I would have thought that Nintendo would be using their Nintendo Power as their actual, you know, booklet that they're going to be using out there. I mean, the graphics were great back there. The game was great. I think it was badass. Did he say Zelda or he said Link? Let me see your thing.
But with your help, our hero pulls through. Yeah, go Link, yeah, get Zelda.
Did he say Girl Link? I thought he said Girl Link. I heard Girl Link there. I'm not sure. It's weird, all right? But I mean, it was over the top. I mean, back in the day, we didn't have stereotypes. We didn't have that you couldn't say something about someone. You know, people were all dressed up differently. You know, you had your nerds, you had your geeks, you had your jocks, you had your, you know, gamers, and it was fun to have that because you were able to like showcase that. Now we live in a society that we can't even, you know, you try being yourself and it makes you feel like weird. Like people go to me at work and they're like, dude, you are so weird when you're cosplaying during your streams. And you know what? It's not for you, it's for other people. So it's cool. But I enjoy these commercials. I hope you guys are enjoying it too. If you have, make sure to hit that like and subscribe button. But we got one commercial left. And I have to save the best for last because this game has been known as the worst video game of all time. I'll give you 5 seconds to decide what game you think it is. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Did you say the Atari ET game? Because, oh man, they came out with a Christmas commercial that was over the top amazing. It's almost about a minute long. And honestly, I think ET was the worst game out there. And they put so much budget into this game that if you have a copy of the game, it's probably worth a lot of money. But if you don't, go to Vegas and find a landfill. You'll probably find it there. So let's get into the worst game of history. All right. We've had the worst movie, which is Snow White. This is the worst game. I don't think any games are going to be rated worse than this one. So let's get into it. Here we go. Look at him. Look at E.T. walking.
from Atari. Made especially for systems from Atari. The video game that lets you help E.T. get home. Just
No, you did not.
for Christmas. Happy holidays from Atari.
You did not help ET get home. You want why? Because everyone turned on the game, played it for about 5 minutes, and goes, "What the F am I playing here?" And ended up getting the game and throwing it to the side and going, "Screw this shit. I'm going home. I'm not playing this game." I mean, they put a lot of effort into it. They put a lot of effort into these commercials. They put a lot of effort into trying to get people to watch these commercials and you know, promote their products out there. I think these are probably the 6 best commercials, 6 little outrageous ones as well. Yes, there was a Paul Rudd one as well for Sega. I'm not Sega, for Super Nintendo. We didn't showcase that one because, I mean, we've seen it before. But I mean, these are a little bit out there, a little bit crazy, and a little bit like, So let me know which commercial you like the most. If you have a commercial that you thought that was good, let me know in the comments. I'll watch it in one of my streams. We'll play it, you know, and see what it is. If you guys have not joined the Discord, there's the Discord link on the bottom as well. We have a lot of retro stuff on there as well. I want to thank Alex for coming out. We have a lot more crazy stuff going out with the retro channel, retro gaming.